today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favourite things to put on a cake, which is a gum paste rose. Now, gum paste roses look great in any colour, and you can decorate birthday cakes, anniversary cakes, or the more traditional wedding cake. Okay, so what we're going to need to make the roses is your gum paste. This is just a Squire's Floristry paste, which I've just coloured in pink. Some edible glue, a foam board, a ball tool with a large end and a small end, a paintbrush, your rolling pin, some corn flour just for dusting when we roll it out, petal cutters. Now the ones I'm actually going to use are these ones, which are from Wilton, and we're going to use the two larger sizes. So this one is 1.5 inches wide and the smaller one is 1.25 inches wide. Just some wire cutters. So we've got the wire cutters, and then we've got a rounded end plier. Some wire, so we've got some 20 gauge wire, a container which is airtight so we can keep our petals in there as we're working on them. This is optional, but a kind of candle lighter or just something that we can heat the wire up with. Here I've just got some racking just to hang the roses on while they dry. Okay, so before we do anything, we need to prepare the bud of the rose. So I'm just going to take some of my wire and just cut that down. And then we want to create a loop on the end. So we just want to take our rounded end pliers and just bend the end over so that you get a loop, and that is what is going to sit inside the bud. So what we're going to do is just take a tiny lump of the gum paste, and you just want to kind of roll it around, and then on one end just push down, and we want to create like a teardrop shape. And in terms of the size, what you want to do is on your smaller petal, so the first one that we're going to take, when you actually place it within that, you want it to come up to be about 1/3 of the size. Okay, so we've got two options. So the first option we've got is to take your edible glue and just put the end that's got the loop in it, and then just push that into the end of the bud like so. If you want to use this method, you'll probably want to do this a few hours before, or even the day before, just to let the glue dry, else as you try and put the petals on, that's going to pull out. So if you want to use that method, I just turn the ends over and then just hang those kind of on the racking to dry. So another option, if you didn't want to be using the glue and having to wait for it to dry, is to heat up the end of your piece of wire and just heat up the end. Now the wire will get a little bit hot, so you've got to be really careful. So as you can see, the end has just heated up, so we just want to turn that off and then just push that into the end of the bud. Okay, so what actually happened was we just heated up the sugar inside and melted the sugar. So what has actually happened is that the bud is still soft, but the wire is quite secure in there. So it's just a way of being able to use the bud straight away without having to wait for it to dry, and the wire is quite secure in the end. So this is what we're going to use. So if we just put that to one side, just on your drying rack. Okay, so now we've got our gum paste. What we want to do is roll it out as thinly as we possibly can. So what we want to do is cut our petals out. So first of all, the smallest one. So to make the large rose that we're going to make, we just need 12 small ones and 11 to 12 larger ones. Take one of the petals, the smaller petals, so we can put the rest of them in there just so they don't dry out as we're working on them. And then you want to take your foam mat and your ball tool, and for the first petal, all we want to do just on the outer edge is just really lightly just go over it. We don't want to fan it too much, and then just where the point is, we just want to rub the ball tool just to kind of make a small indent, which is where bud is going to go. So what you want to do is take your edible glue, and we just want to cover the whole of this petal like that. And then just place your petal down so you've got the point meeting the bottom of the bud. So you just want to push that down. And then what we want to do is wrap this petal around. So push one side in, and then you want to roll the top as tightly as you can get it. And then just glue down the outer edge. So what we're creating there is just the inner bud. For the next layer, we're going to need 3 of the small ones. So 1, 2, 3. And then kind of the same with those. So run at the edge of the bottle just over the edge of the petal, just to kind of make it slightly thinner and give it more of a natural look. That, and then just push the bottle in where the point is. Put a small amount of the edible glue on the ends of those. Now what you want to do is start where you've got the opening. So we always want to cover the opening. So we're going to turn that round. So on the first one, we just want to push the left hand edge onto it, but we don't want to stick anything down yet. So what you want to do is pull that away and just keep it on your hand, and then we want to push the next one in and then slightly roll that in, and we want to put the next one in there. So then kind of roll those in, and you can just kind of pull those away and kind of tighten those up. And then what you can do is just kind of pull on those, and then that's what we have for that one. So for the next layer, we're going to need another 3 small ones. With these ones, what we want to do is exactly the same. So push down on the end, but we actually want to fan these ones out slightly more. So push a little bit harder on those. And then what we want to do is turn those over and put the little ball mark in those. Take the smaller end of your bottle if you've got one. If you haven't, you could use a cocktail stick or the end of a paintbrush. And then with these ones, you just want to slightly just roll the end of those petals. Now for these ones, we don't want them to sit as close to the last row of petals that we put on. So the rose is actually going to start to open out. So because of that, we just need a smaller amount of glue on the bottom, because you don't want to be able to see that. So just pop that on. Starting on one of the joins, just pop that rose on, slightly keep this hand side, this right hand side open, so that we can just slot that one in next to it. Roll that round and place the last one in. Roll that round. So for this, which is the 4th layer, we just need 5 of the small petals. We just want to repeat what we did in the last step. So we just want to feather out the outer edge of the petal and just flip those over and just push the bottle into the bottom. And then using the small end again, or your cocktail stick, we just want to roll the 2 sides down, so you're creating a point, like so. And then what we can do is just leave those for a few minutes, just to not harden. You don't want them hard, you still want them kind of pliable, but just so they kind of keep their shape slightly. Add a small bit of the edible glue onto the bottom of those, and then taking our rose, starting again on one of the joins, just put your first one on, open that slightly and slide the next one in there, then add the next one, the next one, and then this last one just closes them all up, and just push slightly onto where you know that you've put the glue. So we've got that. Okay, so the next 5, we just want to fan out those edges, and the same way just turn over the corners so that you've got a point on this side, and we just want to leave those to dry slightly. So what you want to do is take your paintbrush and the same again, just put some edible glue on the bottom of those. And then again, starting at one of the joins, you just want to place the first one on, slide the next one in, just turn that slightly and pop the next one in there. Same again, just pushing those slightly on. And then there we go. Once you've got your kind of last one in, you can kind of flip it over and just push down slightly where you've got the glue. Okay, so for the next row of petals, which is going to be our last row on this one, you want between 6 or 7 petals. Now sometimes 7 will fit if the rose is slightly more closed up, and it kind of depends on how open it is. So sometimes I prefer to put on 6 and sometimes I prefer to put on 7, so it is kind of up to you however open you kind of want the rose. So what we're going to do is take the last set of the larger petals and just do exactly the same as we did before. Okay, so I've left those to dry for about 10 minutes. So we're just going to place the edible glue onto the bottom of each one of those and just follow the exact same method that we've been using before. So just kind of place those on. So place the first one on where you want it, and then just slide the next one in, the last one. I'm going to flip that over and just slightly push down on where the glue is. What you want to do now is just kind of leave that on your rack, leaving that to dry overnight or maybe for 24 hours, just so that all the glue's dried and the gum paste has set completely solid. Okay, so here is the pink rose that we have made. I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you did, please click the like button, and if you want to see more of my cake tutorials, then please click the subscribe button. Thank you.